everyone, One Big Boss here. I do want to apologize first off for no review this past week. I had a funeral to attend to, and it took me away from here and my other job as well. But don't worry, we're back now. And another thing I have to apologize for is, this is a different review. Sonic Generations will be put on hold due to Thief King Gamer Girl being a little sick, and the fact that she has started up school again. So, I dusted off my Dreamcast, and I brought back an old classic of mine. So, let's get into some zombie killing action with Zombie Revenge for the Sega Dreamcast. Zombie Revenge is an almost forgotten Sega Dreamcast game in the style of beat 'em up, and published and released by Sega back in 1999. It had been a rather long name during production called Blood Bullet: The House of the Dead side story. It was shortened to a much catchier title called Zombie's Nightmare, but in the end Sega changed it to Zombie Revenge, being more fitting to the game's story. The game itself is a spin-off of the popular arcade shooter House of the Dead, which I actually own for the Dreamcast still, and I actually have the Wii version of 2 and 3. Zombies retain their look and sound from the original games, which fits, given the series timeline. And the characters that you play as are also working for the AMS, the group from the first two games. The story for the game is, the government has been working in the shadows to use the dead for military experiments, which was labeled UDS, or Undead Soldiers. A man named Zed unleashes the zombie virus in the city. His parents were apparently killed, so his plans are motivated by revenge and hatred. Only the 3 AMS agents can stop him now and his evil plan before the zombies spread throughout the world and kill everybody. Gameplay style is switched up too. It's not like House of the Dead. It's a beat 'em up game now. Basically, that means you use guns, metal pipes, your fists, anything that comes your way or you find within hidden areas, just to hack away at zombies and get to the level safely. And unlike most beat-em-up games, there's actually a different variety of special abilities you can use in this game, such as the charging attack. If you hold down the attack button, your character builds up strength to unleash a strong attack, but unfortunately, you're left very vulnerable to attacks from enemies. You can't move once you start this. Second off, aiming your shots is incredibly helpful in this game and helps you save bullets. If you aim at an enemy long enough and wait for it to turn red or flash red, the greater damage is done once the shot connects. Unfortunately, you can only do this with your handguns. Shotguns, machine guns, chain guns, any other guns that you get in the game, you can't really do that with. I don't remember if you could with the dual handguns, though. The guard attack is, it's not that really great. You can guard against attacks, but you still get damaged regardless, so you're better off just keeping your distance and attacking enemies. There's also various other special abilities that you're able to use, but the ones I've mentioned are the ones you're probably going to be using the most, because they're the most effective in the game. There's also more than one mode of play in this game. Other than original and arcade, you're also given a few other choices, such as gun mode, which gives you more firepower in your guns, but unfortunately your throws, kicks, and punches and combos are all heavily decreased. Also, you don't get to hold as many clips in your gun as you once did before, so you actually can't go all like John Wayne and Clint Eastwood in this game, because if you're going to try to punch your enemies, you better hope you have a partner to help you get the ammo out of the enemies. Another mode in the game that I actually like because it provides a challenge that's even harder than the original game mode itself is the Bareknuckle Mode. It's basically like it says. You're given no handgun, and you're just relying on your pure physical attacks. It's truly a challenge because characters like Zed that you have to fight here, and some of the other zombie enemies that can fly and everything, it makes it really hard to play through the game and actually stand a chance of beating them. Or even getting past the first level without losing at least like 10 lives. You also have a fighting mode where you can face off against either the computer or one of your friends. You also use the Dreamcast VMU to raise characters for the fights, level them up and everything like that, and it just proves how brilliant Sega was. The VMU was amazing, and you can take it on the go, train your characters, like in this game and in like Sonic Adventure with the Childs and stuff, or when you played Code Veronica, you could look and see your life on a little VMU screen, It's basically, it was something that was ahead of its time, much like the Dreamcast itself. It gave way to stuff like, the Nintendo 3DS being able to use the Spot Pass, Street Pass, whatever they call it. It was really ahead of its time, and it made this game even better than it was. Because you don't see many games today with modes like these. So I really like how you can, switch on the go. And plus, I guess the Game Boy Advance did something like this too, where you could connect it to the GameCube for certain games. Another mode in the game that was actually pretty interesting was the boss battle mode. Basically, you go through the game and you face all the bosses, and they become unlocked during the missions. So once you beat the game, it's saved, you can go back and fight all the bosses over and try to beat it within a certain time limit. It's actually good practice too if you've beaten the game on like gun mode, and you can just go back and face all these enemies with no superior stats or weaker stats. You're just the characters as is, which we're actually going to get to right now about the characters. Each one of the AMS agents has a certain skill to help you in the game. I mean, they have a strength and a weakness, so it's up to you to choose which you like. Full-on combat or just all with guns. Stick Brightling, the leader of the team, actually, he has something to do with this game. His father had something to do with the zombies, and Zed right here seems to hate Stick completely. Stick also is the well-rounded character of the group. He has both strength and weapon abilities, so he's pretty good if you like to do both. Linda Rhoda is the youngest member of the AMS team, but she's also the fastest of the characters, and her ability with the gun is far greater than any of the others. Though she is physically weak and it's not a character I'm pretty good with, honestly, because I'm a guy who, I like to fight in my games. I don't really like to rely on guns. But if, keeping back and shooting from a distance is your thing, then she's the perfect character for backup. And the last member of the team is Rikiya Pusujima, a Japanese AMS agent who is physically stronger than the other two characters, but is slower and his handgun abilities aren't quite as good as his partners. I always used him. Ever since the beginning back in 1999 when I got this game, I've always loved playing as him, because I'm a fan of brawler-type fighters and everything, I would rather use fists and kicks than guns. But playing by yourself as him provides a strong challenge. If you're going to use him at all, you should be using him with a partner. Somebody should be able to play as backup for you. Like if they're Linda, they can stay off in the distance and shoot, or same if they choose Stick. He can stay in the back and shoot, or he can come up and fight just as hard as Busujima. Teamwork is really valuable when it comes to using this guy, at least, because he is good on a team, but by himself, it's harder. Alright, now on to the good and the bad of this game. We'll start off with the bad, to begin with. First off, the difficulty of this game, it's a bit ridiculous. Even by yourself, it's almost near impossible to beat the game by yourself. I mean, me and my friends, we never beat it by ourselves on the normal modes. You do get 15 continues, but when you play with a friend, you share those continues. So if you really don't have good teamwork abilities, or you just plain suck, you ain't gonna get through this game, I can tell you that much. I mean, with gun mode, it's pretty easy to get through by yourself. That's the only way of being able to beat this game, is to play gun mode and just go through it. That's it. Second of all, I had problems with the running and the guarding. If I was to run, half the time the character would come to a dead stop, like it showed right here, how Linda just got smacked. It was really a problem, because you're trying to run away from enemies and you end up blocking. And blocking doesn't do anything in this game, honestly. You still get hit, you still lose lives. So, I mean, other than that, controlling-wise, this game was pretty good, but that was my main problem with this, was the blocking and running thing. I don't understand why they couldn't fix it. Maybe they just couldn't. I don't know. Alright, my final complaint for this game is the fact that we have 3 characters to choose from, but it was only a 2-player game. I never understood why Sega didn't add the 3rd player option to this. I mean, after all, the Dreamcast had 4 controller ports. I mean, this is what the Dreamcast was all about. It was about breaking new boundaries, And with 4 controller ports, we could have had, I mean, hell, adding an extra 3rd player to this, it would have been great. You would have had to make enemies harder and levels probably longer, but, it still would have been great to just pop in and play with your friends. I really wish I had a reason why Sega did this, but, I mean, it's not like it makes the game horrible, it just, in my opinion, it could have made it a little better. And now, on to the good about this game. First off, it's a freaking blast to play. As difficult as it can be at some times, and, as frustrating as I got during the gameplay, it's really an amazing game to just pop in and unload stress. It's a good stress reliever. and it's great to play with friends too. I mean, despite the difficulty, like I said, it doesn't get, you know, too frustrating where you rage quit or break the game. Also, what I liked about the game was if you had an arcade stick at the time, you were actually able to use that in this game, which, you know, it really helped generate the real authentic arcade type play. I mean, you know, the whole without wasting quarters and everything. So yeah, I mean, you know, despite the shortness of the game, you know, its various game modes kept me coming back and playing after all these years. You know, Sega really put thought into this game, and you gotta give them credit. When they made a Dreamcast game, they made a Dreamcast game, and this game proves it. Alright everybody, so what to think of Zombie Revenge? Well, I honestly believe that this game is worth buying. If you have a Dreamcast still, and you don't have this in your collection, I would suggest that you buy it. Honestly, it's just a game that it's so much fun. You've got various modes of play, which you don't see in other games these days. You know, it's a constant challenge, and it's great. It's a great game to play as with friends. A two-player mode that is unbelievable. It'll keep you coming back. I really thoroughly enjoyed this game, and I would suggest that if anybody is a fan of zombies or beat-em-up games, I mean, this is a game for you. It really is. I can't put any more words together for this. I would like to see a port of it, you know, so people could experience it, but I don't know if Sega would do something like that, or, you know, who's in charge of the licensing, or if Sega still has the rights to it. Because I know there were 2 new House of the Deads recently, and I'm not sure if Sega still had anything to do with them. I should probably look that up at one point. Well everyone, that wraps up episode 11 for this week. Join us next Wednesday as we review a classic from the NES era, a little game called Little Nemo the Dream Master. This was actually one of the first NES games I can remember playing as a little kid. I mean, other than the obvious, like, you know, Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, Mario Brothers 2 and 3. So, yeah, like always, if you haven't, please like our videos and subscribe to the channel too, because, you know, it's free, and in this day and age, free is a damn good thing. So, I also want to apologize for there being no review or anything for last week. I will make sure that I can find time to make a quick video letting everybody know what's going on if there is not going to be a video. I know I've been slacking a bit lately, but like I said, with the funeral and a lot of other things that's been going on around here, my job asking me to work more hours, it's kind of chaotic. But I assure you, I will still be here with my crew, and we will definitely get you more game reviews. So keep an eye on us in the next coming months too, because we have something very special planned in the next 2 months. So until then, see you all next time.